Hey there, fellow deep divers. Ready to explore a story that's captivated people for centuries? We're venturing into the world of the Quran, specifically the 18th chapter, the cave, or Al Kahf. Now, I know you might be thinking religious text, really, but trust me, this isn't your typical scripture study session. This story's got twists, turns, and timeless lessons. Whether you're a Quran expert or just curious, this one's got something for you. Imagine this, a group of young men facing persecution for their beliefs. They seek refuge in a desolate cave. It's a story of faith, divine intervention, and a mind-boggling twist of time. The real question is, what makes this tale echo through generations? Why is this story so central to Islamic tradition? Let's unpack this with our expert, shall we? What do you say we step into this cave, metaphorically speaking, and shed some light on its mysteries?
Absolutely. This chapter, it pulls you right in, puts you alongside these young men running for their lives. Imagine the desperation, the fear, but also their unwavering faith, leading them to a cold, dark cave for solace. And in this moment of vulnerability, they turn to their Lord. They pray, pouring their hearts out, seeking guidance and protection. And this right here, this is where the story takes its first extraordinary turn.
Okay, before we go further into this cave, when we say extraordinary turn, we're talking divine intervention, right? But what does that look like here? What happens to these men seeking refuge?
You got it. Divine intervention is key to this story, and it shows up in a way that messes with our understanding of time. These men, exhausted, afraid, are miraculously put to sleep by God. But it's not just any sleep. It's like suspended animation. They've got no clue how much time is passing outside their little world.
Hold on, I'm hooked already. This isn't just a power nap, is it? We're talking deep sleep, so long, it's beyond how we humans see time. And this concept of time, or how little we grasp it, feels really important here. You mentioned the Quran being deliberately vague about how long they slept. Why is that? What's the significance of leaving that open-ended?
It's like it's messing with us on purpose, you know? The Quran, in those verses 11 and 12, it's not about giving us a timeline. It's saying, hey, God's power, way bigger than how we measure things.
But
So it's not about how long, but the what of this sleep. It's like God's time. We can't even, it'd be like explaining nanoseconds back in the Stone Age, right?
wow.
Their whole world was sunrise, sunset. They couldn't grasp something so tiny. And waking up from that, talk about disorienting, stepping back into a world centuries older. That's exactly where it goes next. Verses 22 to 26, they wake up. No idea time's flown by. Out of the cave, blinking at the sun. They were asleep for centuries. And of course, everyone else is freaking out. These guys vanish, then reappear lifetimes later. Debate central right there.
I'd be staring around like, wait, what? The world you knew, everyone,
Yeah.
gone. Like coming home after a trip, and it's all different, except times 1,000. But in all that chaos, what's the Quran say matters most when they wake up?
It brings us back down to earth, you know, verse 26. God knows best how long they stayed.
Yeah.
It's like this gentle nudge saying, hey, humans have limits. We can analyze all day, but some stuff we
Yep.
just don't get. And that's where faith comes in.
Whoa. It's humbling, right? To admit, no matter how smart we get, some things are beyond us.
Totally. But it's not about being discouraged. It's about trusting in something bigger. Like even when we're clueless, when time feels out of control, there's a plan. And we see this again in that parable, the one with the two guys and their gardens.
Oh yeah, the parable. Feels like a gear shift. Divine sleep to gardening. But you're going to tell me it all connects, right?
You're catching on. Parables are like those optical illusions, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What you see first ain't the whole picture. They sneak truths past your brain's defenses.
Hiding in plain sight. Making you feel the message, not just hear it. So, in the cave, what's the hidden message about these gardens? What's the Quran getting at?
All right, let's break it down. Verses 32 to 44, we meet these two guys, each with a garden. On the surface, they're killing it. Big harvest, the works. But here's the thing.
Uh-oh, there's always a but, right? What's the catch with these garden dudes? So we've got this contrast, right? Divine intervention, guys asleep for centuries, time-bending stuff.
Right.
Then bam, two dudes in their gardens. Total change of pace. But you're going to say it clicks? Don't tell me.
You're totally getting it. Parables, they're sneaky, like those optical illusions.
What you see ain't the whole shebang, huh? They're messing with your mind in a good way.
Exactly. They get those truths past your defenses using stuff we all get, like gardens.
Like hiding a message in plain sight.
Yeah.
So with the cave, what's the garden message?
Okay, so verses 32 to 44, we got these two guys, each has a garden, and on the surface, they're golden. Bumper crops, beautiful, everything. But
Always a but. What's the catch with Mr. Green Thumb number one?
one of them, he lets it go to his head, you know? Pride City, like, look
Yeah.
at my harvest, I'm awesome.
Well, I know the type. Probably posting garden selfies, hashtag blessed, the whole deal.
Exactly. But the other guy, same blessings, but he's different. Humble.
So it's not about having good stuff. It's how you see the good stuff.
Yeah.
One guy's all ego, the other.
He gets it. He knows it's not all him. God's the provider, you know?
Tying back to what we were saying about trust and humans not knowing everything.
Exactly. The parable's like, hey, real peace, not about stuff or how great you are.
Uh,
It's about knowing there's something bigger, trusting in that, even when it's confusing.
so it's like these gardeners, they're showing us ourselves. Are we grateful or all puffed up?
Right. And that's the cool thing about the cave overall. Divine stuff, time, possessions, it all goes back to faith. Like those are just different sides of the same coin.
It's like sometimes the biggest truths are right there in front of us in these old stories. And leaving this deep dive, I'm thinking the cave, it's not just about those guys who slept. It's about us, our faith, how we deal with time, finding peace. It's all connected.
You got it. These old stories, they still matter today, you know? Guidance, wisdom, and that reminder, be curious, be humble, and believe in something bigger.
Well said. And on that note, we leave you to ponder the cave. Keep those minds curious, and remember, sometimes the most amazing journey is the one inside ourselves.